counting you in with the well-known counting themes. Here we go. 1, 2. Oh no, what come after 2? 5.
Idi Amin, most amazing man there's ever been. He the general, the president, the king of the scene. Idi Amin.
Look at the history and packed with men. What rising to the top and getting chopped again. No one fathoming the secret of the whole damn thing. You gotta give the population something to sing.
Idi Amin, most amazing man there's ever been. He the general, the president, the king of the scene. Idi Amin.
Take Hitler, Stalin, Attila the Nun. No one got a good word for a single one. Where these first-class geniuses all going wrong? They never got the population singing along.
Idi Amin, most amazing man there's ever been. He the general, the president, he king of the scene. Idi Amin.
Listen, with the world-famous Kampala Glee Club mind keeping in the damn background, what the hell going on here? It looking like some kind of musical coup to me. That's better. 3 people more than enough for a quartet anyhow.
Idi Amin, most amazing man there's ever been. He the general, the president, he king of the scene. Idi Amin.
A modern leader got to twist and shout. Gotta tell the people, let it all hang out. If you don't want to vanish with a boot up the bomb, you gotta give the population something to hum.
Idi
You're still
Amin,
crowding the
most amazing
star.
man. He the general, the president, he king of the scene. Idi Amin.
That a pretty good voice you got there. That voice possibly taking you right to the top of the charts. Yes, sir, ma'am, every chance you get into the #1 spot on the Uganda hit parade with a voice like that. You could be the next Engelbert Bassett. You could be the new Zulu. Pity the world only needing one new star, really. Idi Amin, the most amazing man that the world has seen. Now the general, the president, the king of the scene. Idi Amin, oh, this girl singing a piece of cake. Let's go now, Idi Amin. Whoa, Idi Amin. Listen to the falsetto going there. Not often a black man get that far up, you know. Idi Amin. Don't forget the name there, folks. Idi Amin, how I love the sound of it. Idi Amin. Ooh, Idi Amin. Who wrote the lyrics of this? Is poetry. Idi Amin.
Hey everyone, Tucker Dixon here with your weekly recap. Let me turn this off. I really shouldn't have things running like this when I'm doing recordings or interviewing victims of violent crimes. Anyways, last week was Rhode Islander week. Really scraping the bottom of the barrel on this one. Vinnie's creep tried to save 2 fathers the burden of paying for college, and tried to tip the paper boy, and everyone got mad at him. Carl's creep was your standard run-of-the-mill murder and rapist. Nothing too exciting with him. It was a real hard week for me to choose who to vote for. Except for...
He was born in Providence, Rhode Island, into a poor family.
Whereas things like rape and murder may be forgivable, being poor is never acceptable. Anyways, Tucker out.
Attention parents, what you're about to see is not suitable for kids. Shoot, it's not even suitable for some grown-ups. You might want to walk away now if you ain't into these type of things.
I'm going to give the people what they want. Sensation, horror, shock.
I'm gonna deliver the goods because I'm alive and I'm not backing down.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Prescription jugs.
disgusting, vomit-inducing thing.
Hola, creepos. Welcome to another edition of your favorite true crime podcast, the show about creeps, by creeps, for you creeps. My name is Vinnie Paulino. I am the People's Champion, and joining me today, I gotta tell you, he's feeling very, very generous today. He's here because he just wants a good time.
Let's all show each other our dicks and have a drink. Great.
Weird, Carl. Weird, Carl.
Why are you recording me in the hallway? I told you not to do that.
Weird, Carl. Buddy boy, I'm glad to have you here. We are in the studio. We're going to do a show for you today, and we let you pick the theme.
What is happening, Vinnie Paulino? Thanks for introducing me.
Yeah, Carl.
We'll just skip right past that. So we put up a vote on Twitter, 3 different states. And I actually voted on this one myself.
And who did you vote for?
I voted for Arkansas.
Oh boy, then you are a winner because that's where we're heading today.
Yes.
The natural state, Carl.
I'm looking forward to this one today. I have a pretty good presentation for everyone.
Yeah, he's been working on it since I believe 92.
Something like that, yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before we move into the actual competition, we need to take a look at the results from last week.
I liked Tucker on that one. I thought that was a pretty good recap for once.
Yeah, he finally's getting his shit straight. Good job,
Tucker.
Now, last week, we went to Rhode Island.
Yes.
The ocean state, for some reason.
I wish it was in the ocean.
And I had a 16-year-old kid who murdered and ate a 5-year-old and then tried to rape the paper boy.
It's a story as old as time itself.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Happens all the time.
It
An
does,
old
yeah.
Rhode Island fairy
People
tale.
are getting real bored of that story. It's a real snoozer. It's a real snooze fest.
It's a sea shanty from the ocean state.
Yeah.
Now, Carl, you had a guy who found Jesus in a van with some fucking lady.
Yes.
And ladies and
Converted
gentlemen,
to Christianity in one day after being a serial rapist and murderer.
that's how good Whataburger is, folks, in case you were wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. You
Yeah,
motherfucker.
55% of the vote. Yes. Cousin Roos have spoken. We live to fight another day.
Now, that blows my mind.
Oh, that feels good. It's been too long.
That blows my mind because we were at 4-1. I was on Game Point, and I brought in a fucking child eater, and you pick a guy who found Jesus. So I don't know what the people want anymore.
I don't get a lot of wins on Sundays or Mondays these days. So if you could just let me have this one, I'd really appreciate it. So now the score is what, 4-2?
Yeah, it's 4-2. And
All
I'm
right.
going to let everybody in on something. I talked to Carl last night via text after that game.
I was not happy.
He did not seem like he was in a good state. I wasn't sure if the show was going to happen.
I was getting text messages from the Drew and Mike show guys and you and everyone busting my balls.
And all I did was send you like the meme of the fat guy from The Office giggling. That's all I did. And it was like, fine, Vinny, the Bills lost. They're going to fucking move. And fucking congratulations.
Yeah, Vinny's a little bit too happy about my team sucking these days. So
yeah.
In fact, I might go over there and punch you in that fucking face right now the way you're smiling. Fucking knock that chin in.
Which one?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I guess we're going to start the competition. And because you won, that means you have to go first. Ring that fucking bell, Carl.
All right. The biggest creep from Arkansas was my assignment. And I don't normally pick my creeps well in advance.
Okay.
But as soon as I found out it was Arkansas.
Is R. Kelly from Arkansas?
I had to call one Hillary Rodham Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton, you might know, was the
born
first
in
lady.
Chicago?
First lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, she lived in Arkansas for quite some time. She's also a state senator from New York for some reason.
I'm gonna lose again.
I still don't know why that happened.
This is bullshit.
No, it's difficult to really. I don't want to take up everybody's day. So I'm not going to go into everything. So let's just cover a couple things that make her a creep, okay? Just a few topics here. Starting with the Clinton Foundation. Remember the Clinton Foundation?
Yes.
Vinny? This is number 45 talking about the Clinton Foundation.
Hillary Clinton turned the State Department into a private hedge fund. The Russians, the Saudis, the Chinese all gave money to Bill and Hillary and got favorable treatment in return. It's a sad day in America when foreign governments with deep pockets have more influence in our own country than our great citizens.
That's right. When she was the Secretary of State, working for us in our federal government.
Inexcusable.
She was also running the Clinton Foundation and taking these generous donations from foreigners. And actually, The FBI investigated this, but that wasn't the only thing that they were investigating on Clinton, crooked Hillary.
Most people have probably forgotten that there are 2 criminal FBI investigations of Mrs. Clinton. The secret server in her house, the email scandal, which we talk about all the time because it involves the failure to protect, the alleged failure to protect national security secrets, and the one Donald Trump mentioned, which is actually a team of FBI agents looking at allegations of public corruption. If I may amplify what Donald Trump said, and I would refine it slightly, I wouldn't call it a hedge fund, I'd call it a slush fund.
That's right, Vinny. We had a lot of things going on when Hillary decided, like, oh, maybe I should be the president now. You know, I'm a corrupt politician. I should probably be able to be the president. That seems fine. And you know what's great about the Clinton Foundation, and actually Adam Carolla picked up on this? When they had the Democratic National Convention, it was never brought up one time. Here's this charity, this charitable foundation that her and her husband founded and is supposedly doing so much good in the world, not brought up by a single person. So everyone knew it was corrupt. This was not like
it was being brought up constantly at the other convention.
Yes,
Did you want to?
Yes, it was.
Did you just want to play it into the ground?
So this is the, people say like, okay, but are there specific examples of this? Because it's easy to say like, yeah, okay, there were donations and we assume there was favors being made and quid pro quo, but do we actually know that? Let's get an example of that real quick and then we'll move on.
She's from Chicago.
There are some extreme, I'll give you the most extreme example, involves her husband's friend, Frank Giustra, Giustra, a Canadian, who asked Mrs. Clinton as a foreigner for permission to own shares in a uranium mine in Utah. Secretary of State has the permission. She granted the permission. He sold 80% of his shares to Vladimir Putin.
Oh.
The Russians now own this uranium mine in Utah. He then gave $145 million from the proceeds to the Clinton Foundation. Now, you're raising your eyebrows. Anybody's eyebrows would be raised listening to this. Admittedly, I've given you one of the more extreme examples of this. There are many others.
That's a good way to get paid to do that job, I would think. That's probably more than her salary was.
That is ridiculous. It's uncalled for.
Crazy.
We could all agree that Hillary Clinton is a creep. And if we were talking about the biggest creeps from Chicago, you'd have a case.
This is your only argument, is that it doesn't count for Arkansas? Because you know you can't beat this. Let's talk about the Steele
Ladies and
dossier.
gentlemen, there are rules to this game.
Let's talk about the Steele dossier, shall we?
And once again, Mr. Hamburger snubs his nose at them.
Hold on a second. We talked about this yesterday. You knew I was doing Hillary, and I did not hear anything about Chicago then.
I know.
There was nothing about Chicago.
It's called a setup, Carl. I'm setting you up.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me that
it's a trap?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. So let's find out about the Steele dossier. Do you remember the Steele dossier? This is the Mueller report.
Carl, do I ever? I'm still waiting to find out what was happening with the Steele dossier. Maybe you could clear it up for everyone.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Did you know that the Clinton campaign, who was running against Trump, actually dreamed this whole thing up and made it all up, and that's why it exists, and we had all of that nonsense with the Russian hoax and all that stuff that took forever for them to figure out was all just a lie. And actually, this is the former director of national intelligence confirming this.
What I did see in intelligence documents, some of which I've now declassified, that there was collusion involving the Clinton campaign and Russians to create a dossier. But I gave John Durham over 1,000 other documents that have not yet been declassified that I know include intelligence that goes specifically to this criminal activity that would be the basis for further indictments.
Seems like she got away with some shit there, huh? Doesn't it? That was a big waste of everyone's time.
Do you mean to tell me that the only thing I liked about Donald Trump isn't true?
Yeah,
the Obama hooker piss bed?
Hookers, yeah, that was a made-up story. That was totally made up.
That's the best story. Come on.
It was fun. I mean, it's creative. I'll give him that.
Come on. I mean, that was up there with, like, the Kennedys tag team in Marilyn Monroe in Cuba.
I would say that's probably cooler than a tinkle party, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I don't know. I like it when our presidents are a little fucked. It's fun.
Do you remember Benghazi? Remember when September 11, 2012, our embassy was attacked?
You know, Carl, it rings a bell. Maybe you could tell us all about it.
Well, it's funny because remember how Clinton had a secret email server, which is illegal to have, that no one else could see her emails?
No, I believe it was a bleach holder.
Oh,
That's what her lawyers told everyone. It was a bleach holder. We used it to hold liquid bleach.
Well, one of the reasons why she probably didn't want people seeing her emails is because of the Benghazi cover-up.
Here's the thing. Hillary's private email server is connected to Benghazi and what happened there. The judge in this case authorized discovery into whether the Benghazi controversy motivated the cover-up via the use of Hillary Clinton's email system. So the judge said it was one of the worst modern offenses to government transparency in the history of the country.
Oh, that's interesting. Sounds pretty creepy behavior to me.
Yeah.
Now let's hear about what
Real
she could have done.
creepy behavior.
Let's hear about what she could have done to save these people's lives.
There's already CP on that server that we know of.
Well, hold on. we're getting there. 4 dead Americans in Libya, and this is one of the survivors talking about how Hillary really botched this one.
What did Hillary Clinton not do that she should have done that would have helped you in Benghazi?
Well, she should have provided and answered the emails to and the request for security there at the consulate. You know, the consulate was about 8 acres, and it was guarded by 5 diplomatic security officers. And anybody that has ever been around anything to do with security knows that is, I mean, incompletely or completely inadequate.
Bitch, bitch, bitch.
Oh, hold on a second. Mark hires more security for the comedy club when you have deaf comedian nights.
Mark is the only fucking security we need. And you better be careful bringing up his name these days.
Yeah, okay.
Kick your head right off of your shoulders.
So they requested more security, and she did not provide more security. And, of course, they were vulnerable. But that wasn't the only problem with this cover-up of Benghazi. When the attack happened, and remember, there's a lot of controversy. They thought there was a YouTube video that pissed these people off, and then they decided they were going to attack. And it wasn't a coordinated effort. It just kind of happened during a protest. Like, hey, let's go in there and kill people.
What happened? Did her stream go down in the middle of something and everyone got really mad?
No, she actually knows how to use technology.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
So, yeah, you're the creep, by the way. Is that on the bingo card that our stream goes down?
Yeah.
While I'm in mid-sentence. It's always when I'm in mid-sentence, too. I'm like, oh, where was I? Okay, great. So even after the attack started, there were requests for reinforcements, and there were stand-down orders. Why?
Oh, it's not even awful. I would say murderous. We had the assets available, and she's the one that set them down, that didn't let them to come to us. And I believe the assets that were available in the area would have saved Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty's, my 2 teammates' lives.
Why did she want these Americans to be killed, Vinny? That seems pretty crazy. And then when she had to testify about this, because, again, they're talking about this confusion. Was this a coordinated effort? Was it just a protest that went crazy? And, of course, Hillary says...
The fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans?
What difference does it make?
You're from upstate New York. Let's pipe down a little bit.
She's the worst. I can't even handle that voice.
Oh, I should have given you a warning.
If you had just played clips of her talking, you would have won this.
Yeah, I know. I know that. I went a little bit further beyond than I needed to. Also, I do want to say, and please leave this in the show, Vinny, that I am not suicidal in any way. Even though the Bills season is falling apart, I do not want to kill myself. I am not going to hang myself in my garage. That is not my intention at all. I'm a very happy-go-lucky guy.
Next week when Crows is sitting there.
I live a charmed life.
And the CIA guy's over here telling me just to read the script.
Yeah, I know.
It'll be fun.
Last week's episode was full of lies.
Carl.
I am Vinny, and I want to say.
My name is Vinny Paulino, and I'm speaking on behalf of Carl. I am now going to read his last will and testament.
So Rose McGowan, you know who Rose McGowan is?
You know what? I just saw a picture of her the other day.
Yeah.
Wow, what happened?
Yeah.
She was a smoke show back in the day.
She was, yeah. Yeah, I guess the Harvey Weinstein thing did not work out well.
I thought it was Marilyn Manson's semen that did that to her.
So she kind of was a big part of the Me Too
Is it possible
movement.
to like expand and melt at the same time?
I don't know.
Like, sure, like it's
Check
not
your
right.
waistband. I don't know. All right. So she was obviously responsible for taking down Harvey Weinstein and a lot of the Me Too movement. Well, she decided to go after Hillary Clinton with a tweet directly at her. This is what the tweet said.
You are a shadow leader in the service of evil. You are the enemy of what is good, right, and moral. You represent no flag, no country, no soul. You eat hope. You twist minds. I've been in a hotel room with your husband, and here comes the bee.
So she was saying that she's going to leak some very important information about the Clintons.
Right.
And then guess what happens?
Weeks after threatening to reveal sensitive info on the Clintons, Rose McGowan now claims that she was run off the road and had her home broken into. Just a coincidence, I'm sure.
Oh, just a coincidence.
Oh, Rose didn't have the... Rose was scared silent, eh?
I believe so. Let's talk about the emails, though. I think that's really the juiciest thing because, as you know...
What'd you say about emails?
Prescription jugs.
I hit the wrong one.
I denounce it.
I denounce them.
Okay.
I denounce emails.
So she had a private email server that no one had access to, and when they finally did, the FBI asked for access to it, she scrubbed tons of emails off of this thing. And
you don't need to see what she ordered from Wish.
Oh, no, she'll tell you what those emails were.
My private, personal emails. Emails about planning Chelsea's wedding or my mother's funeral arrangements, condolence notes to friends, as well as yoga routines, family vacations.
Oh, she's just emailing yoga routines and trying to coordinate weddings and stuff, Vinny. I mean, of course you want to delete that stuff before the FBI investigates.
Yeah,
it,
the FBI
don't
really...
waste your time reading these. It's so silly.
She was actually assisting them and being cooperative,
She was.
technically.
It was very helpful because there were so many emails on there. She's like, let me scrub some of these that are unimportant.
Again, born in Chicago.
So what happened, though, with our buddy Anthony Weiner, a.k.a. Carlos Danger? Do you remember that, gentleman?
Oh, I do.
Once a congressman.
You know what, though?
From New York?
Maybe the audience doesn't remember. Maybe you should tell us more, Carl.
Well, it's interesting because Anthony Weiner was caught sexting with underage girls. He was such a creep, this guy. And he was married to Uma Abedin, which, of course, was the top aide for Hillary Clinton. And when the New York Police Department went to confiscate the laptop of Anthony Weiner, they found all of Hillary's emails on there. What? So Hillary scrubbed her own emails, but then they found them all on here.
Well, that was lucky.
I know. And why did they have
that?
That is
a good assistant.
Why did she have all of her emails on there?
The material on Anthony Weiner's laptop was only stumbled into when the New York Police Department was investigating him for his text to underage girls. And they inadvertently bumped into a huge amount of data in which Huma Abedin had forwarded things to her husband to a computer that they jointly used. My sources tell me this was her blackmail file. So if the Clintons ever turned on her, this is what she would use on them.
Smart. It's a good idea to have information about
Hillary. Frankly think it's a bad idea to have information on the Clintons.
Yeah,
I am going to...
Depends on how you use it, I guess.
I am going to step back and look at this objectively. Not smart.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what was in those emails. This is where the tide turns here.
And I'm told by a New York police officer who is in a position to know there was evidence of pedophilia, sexual exploitation of minors, and massive, massive corruption. Why have we not, none of this has been released. Why have we not seen what was in Anthony Weiner's laptop?
Why have we not seen this?
Well, I'm going to guess because they're Hillary's personal emails. And when the NYPD saw them, they went, oh, this is all just shit about Chelsea's wedding and yoga.
Yeah, right, because that's what Hillary said it was.
Right, so they just deleted it. I'm sure that because there's nothing to it. This is all just...
There's nothing to it. You know, a little pedophilia or something. We're all going to have that in our email, of course.
No.
Actually, the investigators for New York City Police Department, now these guys have seen some shit. They have seen some shit in their day. And when they saw it was on this computer... it was not good.
There's a lot that can be prosecuted. I have no doubt on that laptop. In fact, I heard that the New York police officers who saw some of it, even though they're hardened investigators, literally had to go throw up.
Who's that lady?
Who cares who that lady is?
I do. I'd like to know who this woman is who's saying this.
There are reports that the police officers who saw Hillary's emails threw up.
There are reports that your feet are normal. It doesn't mean it's true.
I haven't seen those reports. You're going to have to show me those reports. I haven't seen it. All right, I'll get you a credit on that one, all right? Let me go back and find the credit for that one for you. Yeah. By the way, can I just point out, these research jobs I do are not easy because Google and YouTube is not like, hey, you want to find out what Hillary's been up to? Here's a whole list of shit. Like that, it's pretty buried.
You were bitching to me about the Maxwell trial yesterday. You can't find anything. And I looked after, and it was really wild because like the only thing I saw was like court started at 8:25 a.m. Court broke for lunch at 1 p.m.
Tim Dillon went off on a rant about this. It's so funny because he found a report that was done out of the UK, and it was an interview with the sketch artist in the courtroom. Like, hey, how did you get started? How long have you been doing sketching
I used to go to open mics, sketch artist open mics.
That's so fucking funny.
I started off just like sketching in the back, and then eventually, I gave it a shot.
So anyway, look, BitChute's not a great search engine and DuckDuckGo, but I did my best to find these things.
Where'd you find it out? Parlor?
And it's interesting. Does that still exist? I don't know.
I got a text message from Parlor the other day.
Did you?
Yes.
What did they tell you?
Hey, Vin, come on back.
Come on back. We're up and running.
I don't want to go.
So, why is it that you can't find this information? It seems like it should be right out there in the open, all this corruption. This person had held very high places in the government. And then when she does get interviewed by someone in the media, the questions are things like this.
How did you kill Jeffrey Epstein? Because you're not in power, but you have all the power. I really need to understand how you do what you do. Because you seem to be behind everything nefarious, and yet you do not use it to become president. What is the game plan?
Well, Trevor.
But honestly, though, what does it feel like being the boogeyman of the right?
See, isn't that fun? It's like hiding in plain sight. They're like, geez, people say you're up to a lot of no good. Well, those people are crazy, aren't they? And
I imagine she has video of Trevor Noah skinning a child.
I think that was on the laptop. Yes.
What the fuck? Trevor Noah
He's the
sucks.
worst.
He
He's the
really is the
worst.
worst. He was the worst choice in the world for that show.
It's maddening. I don't watch the show, but I see the previews sometimes. They'll play like one joke coming up on the show, and you're like, who thinks that's funny? It's the most obvious low-hanging fruit joke every fucking time. And that show used to be great. The great Jon Stewart.
Yeah, when
was very
people had
funny.
fucking standards. But all right.
All right, so that's my creep this week.
Oh, Jesus
It
Christ.
is
finally.
Hillary Clinton, and I don't want to kill myself.
I feel like you now. Like, I'm just exhausted from listening.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus
Now
Christ.
you know how it feels.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to fix you right up. You ready for a real creep? Today, we're not only going to talk about a creep, we are going to learn about how you make them.
Oh, great.
Yeah. My creep today is the blackest of sheep from one of the country's creepiest culty families. My creep today is Miss Duggar's baby boy, Josh.
Oh, boy.
This fucking guy. Talk about hiding in plain fucking sight, Carl.
Yeah.
This is a story, and I did not know half of it.
Okay.
So I know there was recently a trial and a conviction. We'll get to the details of that later.
Mm-hmm.
But this story, Carl, from the beginning is nuts. Let's talk about why people know who the Duggars are for those of you who are uninitiated into this bullshit. We first met Josh and his shitty siblings and his family on the Learning Channel's reality freak show 17 Kids and Counting. The show was renamed multiple times because they kept having fucking kids. By the time the show was over, there were 19 of them.
Jesus.
Right. Children, not counting the parents.
That's too many.
You don't say.
I think that's too many.
So the show basically followed the lives of super Christian sex machine and a two-term Republican member of the Arkansas House of Representatives, Jim Bob Duggar, and his bow-legged wife, Michelle, and their 19 fucking idiot kids. And all of them have names that start with the letter J. Oh, my God. Middle America loved this shit. Now, my favorite thing about reality shows...
Well, we're all pointing and laughing, obviously.
I don't know.
You don't know?
The best thing about these reality shows, though, is how they always have the intro that basically explains the whole thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go, Carl. This is the intro to their show.
It's a story.
Jessa, Ginger, Joseph, Josiah, Joanna, Jedediah, Jeremiah.
Here we go.
This is the story of my family. That's me. I'm Michelle. There's Jim Bob, my wonderful husband, and our children. Josh, Jana, John David, Jill, Jessa, Ginger, Joseph, Josiah, Joanna, Jedediah, Jeremiah, Jason, James, Justin, Jackson, Johanna, and Jennifer. You lost count? That's 17 in all. And I delivered every one of them. There's also one more on the way. We are not a typical family. And it's not just because of our enormous size.
We have very conservative values.
Our children watch
Yeah.
very little television, and we closely monitor their access to the internet, among other things.
As for school, that happens around the dining room table.
Homeschool,
To make
check.
ends meet, we own several commercial properties that we rent out.
Even though we're 9 times the size of an average family, we somehow make it all work.
God, I've never watched that show.
I mean, either. Never watched a second of it.
It's
But-
not as catchy as like the Brady Bunch or Gilligan's Island. Like I like the song, like when it's a song.
Well,
it
there's
explains-
fucking 19 of them. It
when
takes a
explains-
minute and a
Yeah,
half
I know,
to
but there
list
should be a
them.
song and the rest. You know, you can always throw that in at the end.
There's so much to fucking unpack here. But I got to tell you something about
The
that.
pedophile here on Duggar's Island.
And the kids. I got to ask you this question, though. At what point is this wife just like, fucking come on my tits already, Jim Bob? What the fuck
I know we're
are
not
you
using
doing?
contraceptives, but can you fucking pull out once?
Jesus Christ. Fucking, by baby number 17, she's begging for it in the ass. She's just like, fucking give it to me. Stop.
She's like, no, I love oral now. I just want to give you head. That's my only
Oh,
thing.
my God. I mean, after how many kids? You think like after Jedediah, she fucking blew out a tit trying to breastfeed? Jesus Christ.
And you could tell they were running out of names to come up with, too. They're like Jebediah, Jeremiah, Joseph Badiah, Jiladiah.
Jehoshaphat. It's great. Either way, this fucking weird-ass show is a hit, Carl.
Yeah.
The show runs 8 fucking seasons.
Yep.
8 seasons, and a big part of the arc of this show is...
I love how they're trying to explain. They're like, we're a conservative family, do things a little bit differently.
Oh, you
know,
don't
we
say.
bring our kids up right. You're on television. You're a reality show. It's the worst way to bring up children.
And
what are you talking about?
I will say something about Jim Bob that should be mentioned. The guy was a state senator.
Yeah.
And he was also ran for the United States Senate.
Okay.
In like 2002, I think. And he got his clock cleaned. His clock cleaned.
Yeah.
His cock. His
I was
clock
wondering what you were trying
cleaned.
to say there.
His clock cleaned
Yeah.
by somebody. So like they didn't even vote this weirdo in, but they considered him to be a fucking senator.
Yeah,
from
well,
that
guess
state.
who they actually did vote in my state? Hillary Clinton. All right, guys. Crooked Hillary.
I don't like it when you try to resell your creeps. You do it too well.
I know.
All right. So let's talk about one little thing on this show. This kid is a creep. And I'm going to tell you something. When you raise kids repressed like this, when they realize that they live their entire lives with such crazy rules, the second they get just a scratch of freedom, they go fucking crazy because they realize it was all bullshit.
Yeah, the Amish do that. They let
Yeah.
the kids go and smoke meth for a couple of years.
And then they come
figure
right
it
back
out.
and fucking make cabinets. It's great.
It is. It's a good system. It works.
Fucking ride a horse, make a cabinet, fucking relax. Meth was a lot.
Relax. Being an Amish person means you can relax. That's funny.
All right, Ezekiel, settle down. So this motherfucker, this dad is really weird. And there was an episode that they did called A Very Duggar Wedding, which was a special about Josh's marriage to a girl named Anna.
Okay.
And some of the things that they were very, very specific about was that he never even kissed this girl until they got married.
Gross.
Right. How do you know?
What are they holding hands? What are they? What kind of courtship is this?
This
What are
is
we
a
talking about?
wacky courtship. I mean, Carl, listen to this shit. This is his wedding day. This is the episode from his wedding day. Here's an audio clip.
You know, you're getting ready to get married.
I did know that.
I thought it'd be time to have a man-to-man talk with you
Ah.
about the birds and the bees.
How old is this guy at this point?
22?
Jesus.
Getting married? The day of his wedding, his father decides to have the fucking sex talk with him.
He's like, all right, I'm going to have this conversation with you. This is Pornhub. All right? I'll be back in 3 hours.
Carl, it was on video. Here you go.
Dr. Ed Wheat, who was my doctor growing up, wrote, and he counseled.
Again.
Open that up.
Open that up. He gives him a gift.
Before the wedding night. Definition of normal sexual intercourse.
They bleeped out the word sexual intercourse.
That's
This is a book that Dr. Ed Wheat,
I
who
love
was
TLC
my doctor
pretends that they're
growing
doing
up,
good things.
wrote, and he
Staying in
counseled
love
Sean
for
and I
life.
before we got married, and taught us everything we know. And so, if I give this to you, you'll know everything we know.
I think I kind of understand how it works.
Yeah.
I think I learned that.
It's kind of like Legos.
Yeah.
Okay, Carl, that was the sex talk this guy gave his son. He gave him 2 books the day of his wedding. One of them was written, they were written by an MD about like how to actually have sex. He hands it to him.
Stupid dumbass.
Now, yeah, I agree. How fucking weird is that? Do you think that this is going to be a normal person? Do you think that there's any chance that these guys have not raised 19 psychopaths?
I think there's a chance that these people might be psychopaths, yes.
Okay.
I'll agree with that premise.
Now, I find that, when did your dad give you the talk? How old were you?
I did not get the talk from my dad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying, this whole situation is fucked. This kid has no lens for sexuality or instruction in his life.
Sure.
Okay. So, what else do you think he should do? He decides to get into politics, Carl.
Yeah, of course.
The show is
Just like his old man.
successful. They're bringing in almost $25 million a year in sponsorships and shit. It's insane how much money this family is worth because of this fucking show. Josh goes to work on Mike Huckabee and Rick Santorum's presidential campaigns. He's out there doing
How
all
did those
sorts of
work
stuff.
out?
No, not good.
Did those guys become president? I can't remember.
No, but I'll tell you what. It was enough to catch the eye of the old ghouls at the FRC, the Family Research Council.
Okay.
Those crusty old motherfuckers.
Yep.
They're like, oh, look at this young dough-faced boy. He's out there. He didn't even kiss his wife till they got married. He's perfect for us.
Yep.
They hire this kid and make him the face of the Family Research Council.
Okay.
Which is a big deal. That is a huge lobbying institution for fucking family values.
If you
fuck
say
the
so.
gays.
I've never heard of it.
You've
Sure.
never heard of the Family Research Council?
No. I've
Holy
never heard
shit,
of
they're a
that.
huge part of why they're fucking labels on CDs and shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
those
fucking
people are
suck.
annoying.
And by the way, you brought in a Christian last week. Fuck it, this is what you get.
Yeah, I know. You're doubling down on the Christian thing. All
Oh
right,
my
I see
God.
What you're doing.
So the big part, they said the biggest part of his job was building grassroots across the country while working at FRC Action and basically giving out Republican conservative values.
And
Nothing wrong with that.
He also wanted to talk about
Jesus Christ.
Everywhere he fucking went. Well, apparently, all this success, all this stuff was happening. And they didn't know that barely 6 years before that show started, there was some fucking sick shit happening in that house, ladies and gentlemen. This kid's married. Josh is married. He has 3 kids at the time. He now has 7, by the way.
Jesus.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
In 2015,
the news came to light when In Touch magazine obtained a decade-old police report detailing Josh's alleged molestation. According to the magazine, the heavily redacted report details how Josh, whose name did not appear, was investigated for multiple sex offenses, including forcible fondling, against 5 girls in 2002 and 2003. A female minor claimed that Josh touched her breasts and genitals while she slept. In Touch magazine says charges were never pressed, and the statute of limitations has expired.
well, that's just a little bit of it. That's
breasts. Breasts?
Incorrect.
Yeah, okay.
I would say chest area.
Yeah,
Now,
right.
there's 5 victims here that are known, and they are all, well, 4 of them are his sisters, his little sisters.
Yeah.
So there's a lot here going on. But apparently in 2002 and
Were they asking
2003,
for it, though? How were they dressing around the house?
like fucking pilgrims. Like goddamn pilgrims, Carl.
They weren't wearing lingerie.
Buckles everywhere. They had a buckle on these little girls' vaginas. Nobody was getting in there.
All right. Blame the victim. Bingo.
So apparently in 2002, 2003, Jim Bob's running to be a senator. Josh is 14. He's diddling his little sisters. U.S. Weekly ran the story after a police report leaked, and the details are gross, man.
If only he'd read that book before this. I feel like the dad should have given him that book a lot sooner.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Like,
You
you give him the instructions now,
Yeah.
but you don't even know, dude. Jim Bob was first found out about this from one of his daughters coming to him and saying, Dad, Josh was coming in and touching me during the night while she thought I was sleeping. And apparently he was doing this shit on a regular basis. He would sneak into his little sister's rooms, and while they were asleep, he would rub their chests and vaginas and then go back to his room and rub fucking one out.
Okay.
Now, here's a fun one. He apparently would rub the vagina of his 5-year-old sister while she sat on his lap during family Bible time.
Ugh. I don't like anything you just said there.
No.
The last part's the worst.
Benghazi, what? Did you say Bible time?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I don't know which is a bigger fucking tragedy. But
Jeez Louise.
this poor little girl's got to listen to all this bullshit while she's being molested.
Yeah.
Oh, my
That's
God.
tough, man.
So if this isn't disgusting enough, he also cornered one of her sisters while she was awake in the laundry room and just grabbed under her fucking dress to her vagina and was trying to fucking get something going. Now, I don't know.
Trying to get something going.
What are you fucking else could he be doing? She's awake. Yeah. That's a sexual assault. He flat out fucking sexually assaulted his sister.
It's not trying to get something going. He wasn't. He turned down now. How about this?
It's bad. Whatever the fuck it is, it's bad.
It's not good.
And according to the Duggars, there was also abuse that included a much younger sister who, according to them, didn't understand that she had been improperly touched.
Sure.
So he was also alleged to have tried to do the same type of sexual assault to an adult babysitter.
Okay. I can get down with that.
If he had just done that.
Yeah, that's all right.
He'd still be at the FRC. He'd just go, I didn't know how to make a pass. I was 14. I didn't know what I was doing. Now, when you're diddling babies, when you're diddling little fucking girls,
that's a problem.
You're a fucking disgusting animal and you should be fucking, oh, Jesus Christ. So apparently they had to go back to this kid and he confessed to this like 3 times. Okay. They talked to this kid like 3 times. And then finally, they sent him fucking away for 3 months to some type of rehabilitation, Christian rehabilitation thing.
So you're saying they knew about this before the show?
They knew about this when he was fucking running for state senate to be a senator of the United States.
They just thought that it wouldn't get brought up. No one was going to find out. It wasn't a big deal or something?
Well, they kept it very, very hush-hush, Carl. And this is an interesting part about it. During his trial that just recently happened, this woman named Bobby Holt, she was the mother of Josh's then girlfriend.
Okay.
For what they were allowed to have girlfriends. And the way they described it was an arranged marriage.
Okay.
Like we said, our daughter and him are the same age. Let's get them married. And the parents were friends.
Sure.
So
it's convenient. It makes holidays easier. Yeah, I get it.
They said that in November of 2002, she was brought to the house and she claimed that Josh, in the presence of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, confessed everything to her. Said that he routinely touched minors in their private areas under their, quote, pantaloons and underwear. He was 15 at the time. Bobby alleged that Josh told her a young female minor, 5 years old, sat on his lap during Bible time and touched her inappropriately. She also alleged that he touched 3 other young female victims while they were sleeping on different occasions.
Can I give Josh some advice real quick?
Shut the fuck up.
Time to quit talking.
Yes. But the reason he had to do that is because they said that he wanted to give his parents demanded that he give a proper explanation for what he did and why they need to break off this relationship with the daughter.
Okay.
So they were like, listen, you're going to confess. Tell everybody. So they send him away. And this is now about 16 months. They sent him to this camp for 3 months. And then he went to go work for a family friend doing like construction work.
Okay.
Weird shit. They bring him back. And that's when his father said, okay, now we're going to the police.
Interesting.
This is very strange.
Yeah.
16 months after all of it happened, his daughters were being molested by this kid, and he's bringing them back into the house.
Right.
It's a strange thing to do. Jim Bob takes him to meet a friend of the family, a guy named Joseph Truman Hutchins. And this is important because holy fuck, Arkansas, you're a fucked up state. This guy's a family acquaintance, right?
Yeah.
So Jim Bob thought, okay, I'm moving him back into the house. I got to scare the kid straight. So he gets his trooper buddy, brings him over, and he makes Josh confess to this guy the same way. And this state trooper gave him a stern old talking to and said, you'll be in big trouble if you do this again. Okay?
Yeah.
Not knowing that this guy's a mandated reporter and an actual police report had to be filed about this. Thomas Hutchins, this trooper, is now spending a 56-year sentence in prison for child pornography.
Oh, that's the right guy to get for this job then.
Yeah, that's the right cop to know, apparently. No wonder this fucking creepo got away with a warning.
Yeah.
Like anybody else would have been like, oh, fuck. This kid, you can't bring him back in the house. What are you doing?
Do not molest your sister ever again unless you film it and send it to me. That's the only way I'll allow that to happen.
So all of this shit happened before the show. He's working for the Family Research Council, and this police report leaks to Touch Magazine.
Touch Magazine or In Touch Magazine?
In Touch, whatever the fuck it is.
I was going to say Touch Magazine sounds like a molester, like a magazine for molesters.
So this is 2015.
Yeah.
There were rumors going back to like 2006, 2007 when the show first started. The family was supposed to go on Oprah, and Oprah canceled an appearance because somebody anonymously called them and said that the kid was a pedophile, and so Oprah didn't have them on.
It's trolls! The trolls are getting me, so I'm not booked on these shows!
It's fucking really crazy. So
Yeah.
he's working for this big company, and the fucking hits keep on coming, Carl. Okay. And after this whole thing hits, Ashley Madison gets leaked. Do you remember the Ashley Madison leak?
Yeah.
This motherfucker paid him $1,000 on his credit card while he was in D.C. working for FRC. He had an account with Ashley Madison. And not only that, he got hit later in the year from with a lawsuit from a porn star named Danica Dillon, who claims that he beat her up after after he paid her for sex.
Interesting. That's like
So he's the face of the fucking Family Research Council, and he's fucking porn stars and fucking cheating on his wife, and he's a kitty diddler.
Well, these are all bad things. I don't know why. Is that Trevor Bauer? Is that his name? The pitcher for the Dodgers who got kicked out of the league because he beat up a girl so hard during sex.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't do that.
No.
Just get your dick wet. You
Yeah.
don't have to also punch her and bludgeon her.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Creep Up, I would like to say, if you are into, whatever you're into sexually, that's fine. But don't beat people up during sex. That's it.
I will kink shame that one.
Naughty. Stop it. So he has to resign from this job, obviously, and his statement was pretty grovelly. He says, I have been the biggest hypocrite ever. While espousing faith and family values, I have secretly, over the last several years, been viewing pornography on the internet.
Oh, that was his confession.
And this became a secret addiction, and I became unfaithful to my wife. The last few years, while publicly stating I was fighting against immorality in our country, I was hiding my own personal failures.
And guess what? We all know that the people who spout about this the most are the ones who are guilty of it.
We
so
all
no one's
know.
surprised.
We all just waiting to find out what your fucking dad is up to.
Yeah, no one's surprised.
Now, guess what? Gravy Train, fucking done. Show's canceled.
Sure.
Even though he's not really on it anymore, show is fucking done.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to watch after that, I would imagine.
So what does this fucking guy do after that, Carl?
What does he do after that?
We're talking 2015. It's 2021.
Yeah.
Well, he decided to run a car dealership with his shitty brother, Jed.
Oh, I'd love to see those commercials.
Well, there really aren't any, but I do have some fun with you. Would you like to play a little game?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I want you to guess. I'm going to read you 2 reviews.
Okay.
And you tell me which one you think is real and which one you think might have been planted.
Okay.
Of
Got
the
it.
dealership.
So these are like Google reviews.
These
from
are
the dealership.
Facebook reviews,
Okay,
actually,
got
from
it.
the dealership. Be honest. We just bought a 2013 Focus less than a week ago for $5,500, and it's already broken down with 2 issues. Y'all had to know it had serious issues. I am absolutely crushed. Second review.
Okay.
Champion Motor Cars has reasonable pricing and great service. I was looking at a 2015 Rogue, but God had a different plan for me. And with a little bit of prayer and patience, the perfect vehicle for me became available.
Okay. Reasonable price is not something a customer says. That's not something a consumer says. That's what marketers say. Reasonable prices. They
Yeah.
have reasonable prices there. You should check it out.
Yeah, reasonable pricing.
Is it
and
reasonable?
Great service. And a little bit
also-
of prayer and patience may be the red flag there.
Also, I want to point out, if you spend $5,500 for a car, you are a fucking idiot, and it will break down. That's not an amount of money that you buy a running car for. Just FYI. So I think everyone's a creep in that scenario.
Okay, so
Fun game though, Vinny.
Thank you. I mean, there's a lot of people who are not happy with this dealership, and it is closed. Well,
Yeah.
the reason it closed was because in May of 2019, the FBI decided to raid the place for really no reason other than the fact that Josh was in there downloading child porn to a computer.
What the fuck with this guy?
Yeah.
I feel like he's not learning his lesson.
I don't think he is either. In fact, Carl, what he did was he went so far as to put in a second operating system on his computer with partitions.
Oh,
So
smart.
he would have a set. Yeah, he was doing every fucking thing he could to avoid getting caught on this computer.
I love how people who are into child pornography become tech wizards. All of them are like fucking IT masters because they have to figure out ways to hide the shit and upload it.
Didn't
and
kiss
share
his
it.
wife till his wedding day, but he could fucking hide CP, kids.
Well, I guess he couldn't, but that's interesting.
Well, either way, they caught him in a sting. They were just a nationwide sting. They caught him receiving files.
Yeah.
So the FBI raided the place and
Nice.
arrested him.
Good.
And I would just like to tell you that one of the images that he had involved a 3-month-old baby.
Well, that's gross.
Yep. So he was just this past week found guilty of receiving and possessing child pornography, which I think is great that you get them for both, because you would think that's like one thing. You handed it to you and now you have it. That's 2 crimes. Fucking awesome. Way to go, government.
Good job.
20 years in prison he's facing, and let's hope they fucking beat the fuck out of him in jail a little bit.
Can they throw the rest of his family in prison too? Is that something that can happen?
Fucking preemptive prison.
Let's just do that.
Those
Minority
little ones
Report.
look like a problem. Those little ones look like a problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, you could vote for the creepiest person from Arkansas. You really only have one choice, and that's Josh Duggar.
No,
on account of Hillary Clinton's not from Arkansas.
She lived in Arkansas forever. What are you talking about? She's from Arkansas.
Forever ago.
So what?
Whatever.
Anyway. All right. Good presentation there, Vinny. Well done, my friend.
Thank you. Thank
so
you.
Go to thecreepoff.com to vote, and we are at game point still, and I'm mounting my comeback right now. I'm coming back from behind just like the Bills did last night, down 21 points.
But not far enough ahead.
Yeah, I guess not.
And I'm going to tell you what, folks, this is your chance to make that motherfucker spin the wheel just in time for Christmas.
Okay. That's all right. That's a big smile. All right, do we get any voicemails?
We certainly do.
Segment? Great.
And they are brought to us by our good friends in Syracuse.
The Creep Off voicemail segment is brought to you by the city of Syracuse. Syracuse, come see all your Salvation Army dollars in action. See you in Syracuse.
Way to come back, McBride. Good job.
That was good.
Good job. So first one came from our pal James Obsolete. Apparently he was hanging out with you, Carl?
Yeah.
Hola, creepos. What's up, Vinny? I'm
What's up,
over
James?
here hanging out, getting drunk with Carl. He's all upset because the Bills lost to the Patriots. Because the Bills suck and the Patriots rule.
I don't know
Go
about that.
Pats.
Hey, can I see your dick? Oh, and your asshole, if you don't mind.
Jesus Christ, Carl. Will you put your pants back on? This is the last time I'm going to get drunk with Carl for sure.
Let's all show each other our dicks and have a drink. Great.
Anyway, I just wanted to say, keep up the great work bringing the creepy creeps and digging your show, Vinny Likes Wrestling on the Cardiff Electric Network. Call
Thank
me
you for
back.
the plug.
well done, James Obsolete.
We love James
I like how he
Obsolete.
pretends he doesn't like when I come on to him. I like how he pretends like that.
He loves it, and he knows it. He made you a picture.
He did.
Now, folks, I am going to throw a plug out there. Vinny Likes Wrestling episode 2 is coming out very, very soon. So make sure you are following the Cardiff Electric Podcast Network, the only place you can find it.
Jesus Christ. I don't know how that guy's figured out how to get more plugs on these shows.
What's so funny is nobody else wanted my show.
Did you really shop it around?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't ask me to put it on the Who Are These Podcast Network.
Is you didn't even put the creep off on the Who Are These Podcast Network.
That's a good point. You bring us some good points.
Vinny Likes Wrestling.
Carl, you fucking retard. You fucked up 5 weeks in a row. You absolute idiot. The fucking lady that turned the guy to God is the fucking creep, not the serial killer. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Well, buddy, you were wrong, but good try. We had so many voicemails this week, Carl.
Yeah, I got a couple too. Let me play a quick one for you.
Go ahead.
Hey, Carl, this is for the Creep Off podcast. You're gay.
All right.
This is a message from apparently your buddy Jim.
Hey, Carl, it's Jim from the Klan. You haven't been in the past couple of meetings, but we were all listening to your show, The Creep Off, and we noticed that you two never mention the race of the perpetrators, at least not always. Sometimes you do when they're a black man. Good on you, boy. But I was thinking, we were thinking it might be a fun little game if you made the audience guess. We would get people white, Hispanic, black, and maybe we start noticing some patterns over time, you know? It might be very informative. Anyways, January 7, you know, you have the first week to get that squared away. Hit us up. We'll see.
Carl, could you please tell your Klan buddies to not call the show?
Yes, I will. And also, I know there's a couple voicemails like that from Anthony Cumia that came in. I'll tell all of them to calm down with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. This is wow, man. You guys all left us. Listen, do I have to get back to this 45-second rule?
45 seconds.
I tried to listen to all of these.
Hey, Carl, this is Junior. Hey, I think the real creep from your segment should have been that chick who was moaning the entire time hearing Margie or whatever the fuck her name was talk about almost getting murdered. Sounds like she was coming her eyes out. Anyway, call me back.
those people were so fucking annoying on that religious show. They had no idea how to carry on a conversation. I have a voicemail for us here, Vinny.
All right.
Hey, Carl, this is a creep off call. I'm calling because I am pissed with the voting system, not only in America, but on the creep off.
Okay.
People are voting for the wrong creep.
All the time.
Listen, idiots.
Yep.
Not every creep needs to be fucking yucky. I get it. All right, Gore, creepy. Totally. Carl has brought people with the darkest derangement I've ever heard of 2 weeks in a row.
Yep, and now 3.
Without subjecting me to any vomit-inducing things.
Yep.
This motherfucker is going around actually fucking policing other people.
Yes.
No training, no anything.
Security guard,
Defund this
fucking
guy,
asshole. Yep.
denut this fucking Gregory guy.
Yep.
It's terrible, and it ended up hurting people. I mean, for sure, Fleshlight Filani should win, but man, it shouldn't be this fucking landslide.
Yeah, I agree, sir. I think the voting system is a little fucked on this show. We need to get it right.
I think you should just get better at the fucking game. So, too many voicemails this week. Love you guys. We're going to move on. Are you ready for a scum parade, Carl?
I'm ready for the scum parade. Let's do it.
Watch out for the scum parade. Oh no, it's the scum parade. Look out for the scum parade. Making Vinny's day.
We're going to Boston. A woman is facing criminal charges after authorities say a young child and several animals were found living in a feces-covered and urine-soaked hotel room.
Oh, so it was like Stuttering John's apartment. Okay.
Karen Willoughby, 26 years old, was arrested last week on charges including child neglect and 3 counts of animal cruelty. An animal enforcement team was called to America's Best Value Hotel.
This is actually in Florida, by the way.
It is. The article. So listen, I'm going to give you full disclosure this week, ladies and gentlemen. I usually have a really nice write-up for all my scum parade stories that I read off of. I fucking forgot to save it.
Oh,
so I'm going directly to the stories
That's
today.
all right.
So forgive me if I fuck up. I'll do my
That's all right.
best. So this did happen
Her
in
name's
Florida.
Kristen, by the way, not Karen. So there's 2 fuck-ups on this one right out of the gates.
Very upset with myself.
No, you're fine, buddy. You're
Oh,
doing
hold
great.
on.
You're doing a great job, Vinny.
Thanks, Carl.
Keep going.
All right. So the animal enforcement team was called to the America's Best Value Hotel in Satellite Beach.
Yeah.
As our animal enforcement officers were walking up the steps, they could actually smell the ammonia coming out of the room from all of the feces and urine that had been put in there, said the police spokesperson. Willoughby was said to have been found living in the room with a 6-year-old child, 5 cats, and 4 dogs.
Oh, God. That's a mess even Hal Sparks wouldn't be able to clean up.
Jesus Christ, call Hal. Maybe at least he'd give it a shot.
I heard he's on his way.
That's what I like about Hal, about good old Hal. They shared photos that showed 3 emaciated dogs stuffed in a single crate. I want to punch this woman in the fucking head.
This woman's a fucking problem.
It was a complete and disgusting environment, not only for the animals, but for the child as well. When they made contact with the woman inside, she had at least a very good excuse for all of why it was such a mess.
Yeah?
She said she just didn't have time to clean out.
What is she doing? What did you mean you don't have time? What do you have, like a beer on the balcony show to host or something? What do you mean you don't have time to clean up?
Well, she just didn't have time to clean out.
What is she doing? What does she do? What is she doing?
Yeah, well, she didn't have time. I mean, she got 3 dogs, 5 cats, and a kid. Come on, do you think I got time to clean the hotel room? The single fucking room we're all living in together?
Oh, and they're shitting up the place? That is fucking nasty.
The child and all the animals are now said to be safe and recovering. Now, how long do you think you could have 4 cats and 4 dogs and a kid living in a room before it becomes that unbearable?
2.5 hours.
Okay. Because I'm saying, they should have probably called the cops a little sooner.
You think?
Before, you're in a hotel. They have room service. They have, maids.
Oh, I don't think this hotel has any of those things.
Okay, check.
What's the name of it again? Super cheap, lucky
America's
hotel room.
Best Value.
America's Best Value.
It's the name of this episode. America's Best Value.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What a brand name. It's the best value in America. You are not going to find shittier for cheaper. It's America's Best Value.
Yeah. Things that you don't want to have the word value in them are like places you have dinner or places you're staying overnight. So that's not a good word.
I went to Josh Duggar's car dealership. They had great value.
Yeah, reasonably priced hotel rooms.
Oh, man, this story is really fucked. And we talked a lot today about how the system is failing all of us, Carl, yeah? Well, here's another...
Corruption at the top? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, this might be Hillary's fault, too. I'm not sure.
Okay.
A man recently released from jail allegedly killed the woman he stalked more than 20 years ago.
Jesus.
Neighbors of 71-year-old Sylvia Matthews called 911 at about 7:30 a.m. Friday after hearing a loud noise in her Washington, D.C. home. Someone smashed the windows of her SUV and tried to break into the basement. Now, later that day, around 11:30 a.m., police again responded to the home after receiving another report. Once they arrived, a neighbor told them they thought Matthews was being held hostage in the home. So this is a 71-year-old woman.
Yeah.
The police are at her house twice because someone broke out the fucking windows.
Twice in one morning.
Yeah. And now they're saying that this lady's like fucking in there being kidnapped. So the cops the cops bust their way in. The officers found Matthews unconscious, suffering from a head injury.
Ugh.
And she died from her injury Saturday. Now, police arrested 66-year-old Michael Garrett, who was at the home when they arrived, in connection to the death. According to the news, Garrett allegedly told police, "He just got here. I just got here 5 minutes ago."
Yeah. Is this the woman that you were stalking and that's why you were in prison?
No. Oh my God, it was. Holy shit.
What are the chances of that? Holy shit.
It was a 1 in a million shot. Oh, man. She said that, listen, cops, Matthews called me over here because somebody tried to break it earlier. And, I don't know if you guys heard about that, but I was here to come and protect her when she fell down. Police had also received a call at about 8:45 a.m. And according to WBNS, during the second call, officers learned that he was on the phone with the victim.
Okay.
And they tried to tell him to leave Matthews alone, but he allegedly refused.
This is very confusing.
Yeah,
story.
I don't know, but this guy was charged with stalking and breaking into her house in January of 1999.
Right.
And he spent more than 20 years behind bars following the arrest.
Yeah.
This guy must be an OCD case.
Dude,
he's a completist.
He's going to get the job done. Doesn't matter how much time it takes. I just got to get it done.
Her family believes that they met while Matthews was working as a pharmacist at the old Lorton Reformatory Pharmacy. And Garrett was... They said they did not know him, but had heard of him.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either.
He was like the pharmacist who apparently became obsessed with this lady, is what I'm thinking. On the day leading up to the previous arrest, Matthews reportedly heard glass breaking when she was sitting in her home. When she went to check on the disturbance, she allegedly found Garrett climbing through her bathroom window. He then allegedly chased her out of the home before being arrested. So the first time he got into the house, and he couldn't get his hands on her.
Right.
Second time... finish the job. So there's surveillance videos from October allegedly showed him knocking on the door of the home and asking her to open up multiple times. Matthews told police he threatened to kill her. He was arrested for threats to kidnap or injure a person, but prosecution was denied for some reason.
Okay.
The two also got into an argument several days later. Matthews accused Garrett of putting her in a headlock and punching her in the face, as well as threatening to kill her.
That's some old-timey fighting right there. It reminds you of like Brutus from Popeye or something. Like put him in the headlock and punch him in the face.
It's a side headlock with a couple shots.
That's hilarious.
That's all you got to do. It's how you put an old lady down.
Why do I have a feeling that this is how I'm going to go, and it's going to be at the hands of Cardiff Electric? When I was reading this story, I'm like, yeah, this is hitting close to home.
A relative said the family is devastated, and they said it's like the system failed us. Well, yes, correct, a little bit.
Yeah.
They did nothing. This guy got out of jail and immediately starts stalking her again and murders her, and they did nothing. They even arrested him once and didn't prosecute.
Yeah, and the judge was like, I think he's good now. I think he's learned his lesson.
Mr. Garrett, are you going to bother Miss Matthews anymore? Yeah.
Miss who? Yeah, right.
Yeah. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that, son. You have a good rest of your day. What the fuck?
We're emptying the jails, buddy. That's the new thing we're doing. Working out real well.
Boy, do I have a story you're going to like.
Okay.
Connecticut man.
Yes.
Urges mothers to let him train young daughters to be sexually submissive.
Yeah, and the mothers say that's ridiculous and shut him down, right?
Well, a CNN producer has been arrested on charges that he enticed women and their underage daughters to engage in illicit sexual activity at his Vermont ski house.
Ew, CNN?
He works for CNN, yes. John Griffin, 44, allegedly used messaging apps to persuade parents to let him train their young daughters to be sexually submissive, telling them that a woman is a woman regardless of her age. They also said that women should be sexually subservient and inferior to men. Apparently,
by the way,
this might have been Dick Masterson.
This
might have been Dick.
That is not a good pickup line. Women should be sexually subservient and inferior to men. Never worked for me. Never once.
It only has to work once, Carl. You just got to keep
true.
trying.
That's true. It's a numbers
According
game.
to the U.S. attorney, Griffin told a mother of 9 and a 13-year-old that it was her responsibility to see that her older daughter was, quote, trained properly, and later sent her $3,000 for plane tickets to fly the younger daughter from Nevada to Boston. They went on the flight in July of 2020, and Griffin picked them up and drove them to his home in Ludlow, Vermont. At the house, the daughter was directed to engage in, and did engage in, unlawful sexual activity.
So is the mom arrested too? This is fucking crazy.
Oh, we're not done yet. In 2 other incidents, the indictment says that Griffin proposed a virtual training course that would include him directing a mother and her 14-year-old daughter to remove their clothing and touch each other. And another proposal which he suggested that a mother and her 16-year-old daughter take a, quote, little mother-daughter trip to Vermont.
Wait a second. How do you get a mom and her daughter to commit incest over a Zoom meeting? I'm just asking for a friend.
I don't know, man. Honest to God.
This story's crazy, right?
This guy's an idiot. He's crazy to think that anybody can learn anything over Zoom.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, we have a whole generation of kids coming up that are going to be functionally illiterate.
That's true.
And the only thing they're going to do is turn on an iPad. It's going to be fucking great.
Everybody's going to rule the world someday.
Make me your king. All right. The indictment charges Griffin, who lives in Stamford, Connecticut, with 3 counts of using a facility of interstate commerce to attempt to entice minors to engage in unlawful sexual activity. He faces a mandatory 10 years to life on each count.
Good.
Fucking awesome.
Good.
So, good luck, dickhead. And a CNN spokesperson told The Advocate that the company takes the charges incredibly seriously, and they only learned of his arrest this afternoon and have suspended him pending the investigation.
I guess
so they
better.
didn't fire him. They just were like, listen, man, we're going to have to suspend you without pay.
I guess that's better than them saying they find these charges to be hilarious, right? Taking them incredibly seriously is probably the way to go. In a statement, CNN said they think these charges are the funniest thing they've ever heard.
This guy's a fucking segment producer. The other segment producers are going, really, dude? You thought you were going to get a mom and a daughter? Good fucking luck.
He did, though. That's the part of this that's fucking, I don't get it. He's getting these moms and daughters to commit sexual acts on Zoom.
It's fucking crazy. And our last story. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, 1 second.
If I'm Jeffrey Toobin, by the way, I'm going, see? I'm not the creepiest person at CNN. I don't know why everyone's looking at me over here.
That's hysterical. There it is. Okay, our final story. This story actually angered me, Carl. Did it make you mad?
This story's another one that's fucking bizonks. I mean, bizonks. It's either bonkers or bizarre. It's not bizonks.
Actually, I think that's a new word that we just invented.
The story is bizonkers. All right, I'll be honest.
A federal judge in Kansas City sentenced a former Missouri police chief to 5 years of probation in the beating of a man who tried to drown his own infant daughter in an icy pond.
Yes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
If cops can't beat up guys
for using excessive force after Jonathan Stephen Zaccarelli walked into the Greenwood Police Department in December 2018 and told police he had just killed his infant daughter.
Right.
Her body, he told police, could be found in a pond on the west side of the small town, 20 miles southeast of Kansas City, and where basically everywhere they could find. After rushing to the icy retention pond, Helgrimson and another officer found the child unconscious, floating face up. Her lungs were filled with water. They removed the child's wet clothes and wrapped her in the chief's shirt to warm her up. Paramedics arrived and rushed the child to the hospital, where she's treated for severe hypothermia. The baby survived.
That's the part that was crazy to me. Because when they said trying to drown, and then they're like, yeah, you know, she was in this frozen pond unconscious. I'm like, well, you're going to die from that, I would imagine.
So what do you think Helgrimson does? He goes back to the police station, and it's captured on video.
Mm-hmm.
He grabs Zaccarelli by the throat, throwing him to the floor, and starts punching him in the face.
Yes!
Fuck yeah!
The appropriate response to what this guy has done. I
like beat his ass.
He's tied to the chair, too.
Good.
He's tied down. His cops
Kick
is
him.
wailing on him.
Kick him.
Yeah, I totally agree this was the right move.
So they put him on administrative leave. Zaccarelli, 31, pled guilty in August to felony child abuse and was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Yeah, good.
And Helgrimson's attorney had asked for a lighter sentence for 1 year of probation for Helgrimson, citing in part his career as a police officer and the risk of recidivism and further criminal activity were pretty much non-existent. This guy's not a fucking problem.
Right, what are we worried about? He's going to beat up everyone who tries to murder their baby? Good! Let him beat all those people up.
The only fucking verdict that I would accept from this judge is a fucking medal to Halgrimson.
Yes!
This guy's the man.
They should be recreating this for a made-for-TV movie or something, right? This is a good story.
I want to play him.
Good guys win.
I want you to play the Ziccarelli. I murdered my baby. What are we even talking about here?
Guess what I just did today, guys?
Ziccarelli. It'll be a good show.
Maybe we'll make a sketch.
Yeah, Greg Halgrimson was his name, and he's been on administrative leave since December 26th of last year.
Yeah.
This is a fucked up story. So that is the Scum Parade for this week. Carl, we had a hell of an episode today. I think we had 2 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, seriously. These were good ones.
So remember to vote for who you think the creepiest Arkansasian, what the fuck do we call them?
Dummies?
One of the dummies from, who's the creepiest dummy from Arkansas?
Yeah.
And it ain't Hillary Clinton because she's from Chicago. So vote for Josh Duggar.
Whatever.
And you can visit thecreepoff.com. And don't forget, we'll be back next Monday live right here on YouTube. And if you'd like to, you can check out our Patreon. We got a lot of fun stuff up there. Past episodes, Hall of Fame, Scum streams, and coming very, very soon, a new edition of Who Are These Creeps?
Yes. We got to get that scheduled for this month. Busy month for everybody.
Oh, my God.
By the way, so can we do Chicago next week so I can bring Hillary back again?
Next week, we're going to be celebrating everybody's favorite holiday, Christmas.
Oh, we're doing a Christmas episode?
Christmas Creeps.
Christmas Creeps. All right.
Christmas Creeps.
That's fun.
We might have a special guest in the studio for that one.
Okay, cool.
Nah, never mind. I don't want to spin a wheel. That would just fuck up everything, wouldn't it? If I brought in a guest next week, it would fuck up everything. I want you to spin the wheel.
Well, let's bring a guest in. Let's see what happens. Let's bring the guest in. Let's vote if you want the guest to come in or not on our Twitter.
Tell us which guest you want. Let us know who you'd like to see back. That would be fun.
Okay.
I like to know who people want to see back. Put that on the Reddit or some shit.
Yeah, all right. That's a good idea. I'm pretty sure they're going to say Adam Hughes.
Who?
Hughesy? I think they're going to want Hughesy on the show.
All right.
Seemed to be a big hit.
No more of your WATP bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, it's nice to be important.
It's more important to be nice.
Gagia.
Jacking it, jack. Spanking it, jacking it, spanking it, smack.
Hey, can I see your dick? Oh, and your asshole, if you don't mind. Let's all show each other our dicks and have a drink. Great.
Vinny, Vinny, Vinny. Vinny, 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 Vinny.
Ciao, Bella.
May your enemies be cursed in your podcast adventures.